You know, I was just about to make some funny laid back video about how the power recently came back in my house. I had the whole thing planned out. Me in my Superman PJs, finally able to take a warm bath and charge my phone. Maybe get back online and roast some other EFF supporters or dodge some girl sliding in my DM saying, "Hey Sama, are you single?" I was gonna do that. I was gonna make the jokes. And I was gonna miss the quiet and boredom I'd get, which led me to read the books. You know, typical laid back banter. But then I saw the headline. I saw this headline coming from different news channels that are not that popular. Another massacre. Christians in Nigeria, in Congo, dead, slaughtered, and forgotten. And then I thought to myself, how the hell is the world quiet? Let me say this straight. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what political background you have. But if you can watch this, then you're part of the global family, and our family is bleeding while the rest of us scroll past like it's just another Tuesday. Let's be real here. If a Western country had 1,300 people slaughtered in 2 months, the entire world would be on fire. Hashtags, flags, Twitter trends, speeches, the UN meetings, you name it, it'll be there. But when it happens in Africa, when the victims are Christians, black, rural, and far from the eyes of the elite, silence, crickets, like their lives are worth less, as if they're less than. Nah. This video, this rant, whatever you want to call it, is not just about Christianity or about Nigeria or Congo and the Christians there. It's about how broken this world is and how blind we've become, how trained we are to look away when it's not trendy to care. We get more upset about a celebrity getting cheated on than what we do about children being beheaded in villages that don't have Wi-Fi. We cry for dogs in the West, and I love dogs, don't get me wrong, I'm a dog person. But what about human beings being wiped out like they are pests and locusts? Where's PETA for the people? Where's the global outrage for this? Have you ever asked yourself that? And don't give me that nonsense about, well, the media only shows what people want to see. That's not true. The media shapes what people see. If they show you Kim Kardashian's new clothing line or some influencer eating a sandwich, then that's what you're going to care about. But the real issue is the actual genocides happening. That doesn't get clicks unless it's convenient in their eyes. I want to break this down for you to put you on game real quick. Christians are being hunted in Nigeria, in Congo. Every month, every new village, every week, it's the same old story. A child carrying a brown cross was recently beheaded, along with 1,299 other kids. What kind of world do we live in, where speaking about it makes you the problem? Because nobody's talking about it at all. You say, hey, there's something wrong here. And then they'll be like, oh, you're just trying to stir things up. Watch, some people commenting on this video will say, I'm trying to stir things up. I'm trying to shake you by the collar and scream, this is happening right now and nobody cares. No one gives a ham sandwich that there's Christians dying up there. It's not that I'm trying to stir things up. It's what's actually happening. It's happening in real time. The kids today know how every single TikTok dance works, but can't even tell you the name of a single African village under siege. And you want to know what hurts the most? It's not even just the death. It's the loneliness, the isolation, the feeling of isolation rather. The fact that a mother in Nigeria can watch her children gunned down and then sit in the ruins of her home, knowing the world will never give a ham sandwich. Her scream won't trend, her tears won't be turned into a GoFundMe. Not for her. You see, suffering isn't new, but being ignored while suffering, that is a new level of hell on earth. Because it's not just the responsibility of Catholics to speak up, it's the responsibility of every human being with a soul. If we're only outraged when it benefits us politically or socially, then we're not human. We're brands. We're marketing campaigns pretending to be people who give a damn. And don't even get me started on the politicians, because they love playing hero when it's profitable. But African Christians dying? Nah, that doesn't bring in the votes, man. That doesn't sell the headlines, man. So they'd stay quiet, secure, and rich. Meanwhile, blood soaks through African soil. Let me tell you something. You ever wonder why your TV is silent when it comes to massacres in Africa? When Christians are being slaughtered, kids decapitated, women raped, men being burned alive in their own churches, you don't see Anderson Cooper losing sleep. BBC isn't posting black squares. CNN isn't making a 24-hour breaking news countdown. Why? Because it doesn't fit the narrative. Full stop. The truth is, the mainstream media isn't a public service. It's a business, a propaganda machine, a billion-dollar industry that runs on agendas, not truth. And then you think they tell you what's happening in the world. They tell you what they want you to care about. All right? They don't want you to think. They don't want you to feel. They don't want you to know that there's thousands of Christians being beheaded right now. They don't want you to know that. They do not want you to know that. When war happens in Ukraine, there's cameras everywhere. Western lives are at risk. Instant hashtags. We stand with something banners. Solidarity parades. World leaders crying on camera. But when a Christian child is slaughtered in Nigeria, when a church is bombed in Congo, crickets, no trending hashtags, nothing. There's no I stand with Africa badges. Why? Because it doesn't get them clicks. It doesn't sell ad revenue, and it doesn't support the ideologies they are trying to drill into your thick skull. Let me break it down. You see, in the media's rulebook, Christian equals colonizer. Even if you're a poor African villager, in their eyes, you're still part of some historical wrong. So when you suffer, it doesn't really ignite their moral outrage. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't suit their scripts. It's inconvenient, and inconvenient truths get buried painfully. Now flip the coin. If a Christian defends themselves, if they speak out like me, if a Catholic speaks out, then the media will frame me as intolerant or extremism or an extremist. It's a psychological game, and you're invited to play, but as the pawn. The media doesn't just ignore these stories. They suppress them. Actively, deliberately, and with intent. If 1,000 Christians are murdered by terrorists in Nigeria, 2,000 or even 3,000 like in Congo, they'll call it clashes or unrest. But if 3 people from a protected group stub their toe, it's systemic oppression. Make it make sense. The silence isn't just neglect, it's strategy. They don't want you to have context, because context would lead to questions. Questions would lead to anger, and anger would lead to resistance. So they drown your brain in celebrity gossip, TikTok trends, and distractions. Every time you look at the screen, they control what enters your mind, giving you nonsense like Kanye West is going crazy. They're just trying to pretend nothing ever happened because they want you to forget about it. And here's the darkest part. People don't notice. They think silence means peace. But silence is the enemy. Silence is where evil thrives. And your news channels are the gatekeepers of that silence, because idleness is the devil's workshop. So the next time you turn on the TV and see some celebrity crying about a dress code or some fake social media outrage, ask yourself this. What are they not showing me? What are they distracting me from? And the answer might just be a church burning in Nigeria. The Pope died yesterday. Cue the candlelight processions, the emotional Instagram tributes from people who don't even know what a Catholic is. TikTok edits of him waving in slow motion. The whole world stops. This is a tragedy. And it is. The man dedicated his life to the faith, to peace, to church. He wasn't perfect, but he was a religious leader, and now he's gone. Shockwaves across the globe, across the globe, obviously. But now you start to feel this weird aching guilt, and not because you disrespected the Pope or didn't care, no. You feel bad because you realize something. The people he stood for, the Christian people, the very flock he was supposed to shepherd, are being slaughtered right now, as we speak, right now, not 10 years ago, not in history books, right now. I guarantee you right now there is a Catholic being slaughtered out there, and guess what? Nobody's crying for them. You see the Pope die and the world collapses. News anchors are stuttering. Presidents are posting condolences, but when entire Christian villages in Nigeria get wiped off the map, crickets, silence. We'll be right back after this message from our sponsors. How twisted is that? The Pope dies, a man who lived to 80-something, who was surrounded by gold ceilings and marble floors, who slept in a palace, protected by bodyguards and Swiss guards, with really cool-looking hats, and the whole world mourns, as they should, because he's the Pope. But a barefoot kid in Congo with a wooden cross and a dream gets his head blown off because he prayed too loudly, and you don't hear a single word. What kind of upside-down world is this? Alright? And I'm not saying the Pope didn't deserve respect. He did. But so do the kids. So do the mothers who begged God to protect their babies while gunmen stormed their churches and stepped on their babies' heads. So do the men who refused to bow to terrorists and got a bullet for it. They all died for the same God the Pope served. Where's their documentary? Where's their TikTok edits? Where's their trending hashtag? Where's their Netflix special narrated by Morgan Freeman? But no, the world's too busy weeping for one man with a cross around his neck to notice thousands being buried with one on their chest. It's almost poetic, almost biblical. The shepherd dies in peace, while the sheep are slaughtered in silence. That's the part that hits the hardest for me. That's why we should be ashamed. That's why you feel bad, even while everyone says you should be mourning. Because deep down you know it. There's silence over there, but every celebrity you can think of is attending the Pope's funeral on Saturday. If Jesus came back today, he'd walk straight past the news cameras, straight past the golden cathedrals, straight past the guys in the robes, and he'd run to the bleeding mother in Nigeria, crying out in a hut because her Catholic child just died. That's who he saved. That's who matters. So no, I'm not just sad the Pope died. I'm sad because the people he fought for are dying too, and nobody seems to give a damn. For obvious reasons, I'm a Catholic. I should be sad. It's a call for charity. This is a call for courage, for consciousness. If you claim to be woke, but you don't even see this, then you're not woke. You're sedated. You're hypnotized by the distractions. It's time to wake up. Not just because it's the right thing to do, but because every time you ignore this, you kill a part of yourself. And our humanity dies with them. And look, I'm just one guy sitting in a dark horse because the power just came back 5 minutes ago. And yes, I'm still not in my Superman pajamas. I just bathed right now. But I'm not going to act like everything's okay when it's not. I have electricity. And while I was taking that warm bath, a Christian was being beheaded in Nigeria. So you need to speak. You must share this video. Shout. Because silence is complicity. It means you're complying to these evil intents. And we've been silent for too damn long. Africa is bleeding. Nigeria is bleeding. Congo is bleeding. The mother continent is bleeding. Don't scroll past. Stand up. Let the world hear you. Because if not you, then who?